Composting is a great way to repurpose everyday kitchen scraps into useful, nutritious soil for your garden, and is classically defined as a mixture of decayed or decaying organic material used to fertilize soil. Compost is usually made by gathering plant materials such as leaves, grass clippings, and vegetable peels into a pile or bin and letting it decompose as a result of the actions of aerobic bacteria, fungi, and other organisms. By including a balanced mixture of green ingredients such as leaves, fruit peels, and grass clippings, and brown ingredients like cardboard, sawdust, and newspapers in the right proportions, it's also a fun way to recycle and learn about chemistry. There are lots of good reasons to compost, too. Saving money, saving vital resources, improving your soil, and reduce your impact on the environment. Regardless of your reasons, composting is a win-win scenario. It's good for you and the environment. Chemical fertilizers, on the other hand, provide a quick burst of limited nutrients that can also wash away into our rivers and streams. Compost also increases soil stability, improves drainage, and helps retain moisture.
So how does it work?
Microbes, worms, snails, insects, and fungi decompose organic material aerobically, which means they use oxygen as they break down the materials in the pile. Bacteria are the powerhouse of a compost pile, breaking down the plant matter to create carbon dioxide and heat. Run-of-the-mill microbes usually start off the process, but as their consumption of the compost materials raises the temperature of the pile, heat-loving microorganisms take over. A compost pile can get up to 100 or even 140 degrees Fahrenheit as it brews. Larger organisms such as worms, slugs, and insects also digest the decomposing matter, pooping out finished compost as they munch their way through. Their secretions, known in the gardening world as castings, improve compost texture, binding small particles into larger, crumbly bits. Compost piles are basically one giant exothermic reaction, producing heat that affects their surroundings. According to Debdale Eco Center, there are 3 stages in composting: heating, worm, and ripening. In the heating stage, fungi and bacteria do most of the work. They multiply rapidly and break down organic matter by digesting it. These oxygen-fueled microorganisms work quickly and generate lots of heat, sometimes enough to kill the seeds of weeds. At this stage, it's very important to keep your compost pile moist as it becomes susceptible to drying out as the temperature rises. After the bacteria do their job, the worm stage begins. The heat cools and earthworms and compost worms, called brandlings or tiger worms, consume the leftovers. At this stage, the compost can be used as mulch or fertilizer for heavy-feeding plants. Under ideal conditions, these first 2 stages can be completed in 2 weeks, but if the compost worms have not yet found their way to your heap, you might consider buying some from a wormery. And finally, the ripening stage. The ripening stage can take anywhere from 6 months to a year, and during this time, a variety of soil organisms gradually break down and sift the compost further. According to an article on theplanetnatural.com, the ideal ratio between carbon and nitrogen in your compost pile should be as close to 30:1 as possible to ensure a quick and efficient compost. Brown ingredients like wood or pine needles are very high in carbon, while the green add-ins like grass clippings and vegetable scraps are high in nitrogen.